It is the Foamy Heads, Mitch and Rich, sitting on the mics today. Got a special release today, part one of the Mythos 2021 Club from Living Waters. Mitch, I know you're excited.
I am. We enrolled in this thing end of the year. We missed out on the first year, just as usual, a couple days late.
Yep.
So that seems to, when you got a 9 to 5, that's typically a 4 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yep.
That tends to happen. So glad to be a part of it this year, experience what it's about, what it involves. It's been a weird 2020 into 2021. So what I'm really looking forward to with this club is the middle of the year right now. This is our first release 3 months in. So I'm ready to reap my reward, as it were.
Absolutely. So we talked about, the Mythos Club, part of the Living Waters Brewing. So it's a limited spot reserve that you can pay to get into, and then you get a lot of times you get early releases to some beers before the general public does. Other times there's unique beers that just come out. And the first one, hitting a little over 3 months into the year as we kind of start ramping up these Mythos releases. But the very first one just came out. Well, I guess it would have been Friday the 4th, Friday the 5th.
Yeah.
When I got to pick mine up. So I'm really excited to try it.
Yeah, same here. And this is, I think, the first one of its description that I've had. I'll get to that more in a minute. The beer itself, it looks cool. It's the typical Living Waters blacked out bottle with a black bottle cap, unwaxed with a dark label and a sketch, as it were. So this one is called Kappa, or Meat Kappa. And it's a pastry stout and a Russian imperial stout. Curious about why I stuttered there. It's because I've had a couple beers. So bear with me. It's being a Russian imperial stout, I always think of Rasputin, right? And oily, or it's going to be something kind of thick. So the ABV is 10.1.
Oof.
And according to this, it's got multiple adjuncts that we can get into in a minute. And for the first time, I've never really seen this before, but the suggested shelf life is 1 to 3 months.
Okay.
They say you should drink this fresh because, I'm lazy when it comes to stouts. I typically just throw them into a box or a fridge, and then when I get around to it, I'll get to it. But, it's like the brewery beers we have. We have one that's over 12 years. I think now, or at 12 years, 11 years. That's what it is. Wow. 11 years. So it's 11 years aged. And these things typically, we're at the point of diminishing returns with that one, but you can typically age anything ABV stout wise 10 and up easy for a while. And it just gets smooth, but the trick is always knowing when is it the good time to pop it. But this says 1 to 3 months. Enjoy it fresh, because the adjuncts in it apparently will fade, I think, is what they're going to tell us. I haven't read the description or anything yet, and I skipped the adjuncts. I've skimmed, but I'm not trying to remember them. Anyway, should we open it and smell it and get into it?
Absolutely. I'm excited. First, I do want to say beforehand is I think you're right about the whole reasoning for drinking it fresh, even though there is a stigma that stouts can be aged for long periods of time. And I think it is because of the adjuncts, the different flavors.
Right. And I'm ashamed to say I was chilling my glass and I forgot to grab it. So I'm going to go grab that real quick. But How did it pour?
I think it poured great. So it actually looks like a lot of the Living Waters beers that we've had in the past. That foamy head is kind of, it's very pillowy. Typically I've seen this or at least we've seen this, Mitch, in a lot of stouts for Living Waters, but this pours Honestly, it doesn't pour like a Russian imperial stout that I expected. You know, you think of that dark motor oil that comes out for a Russian imperial stout, like Rasputin. You know, this is a little different. It's definitely dark. It's definitely heavy, but it pours a little bit different. It almost pours like a porter or maybe even just an imperial stout, but the whole Russian imperial stout, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It looks amazing.
It's a beauty.
Yes.
I grabbed my glass real quick and I started pouring, and
Oh, it looks so good.
it smells amazing. Aromatic with coffee for sure. Wow. And that's a decent like caramel looking head on that foam too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely stays. It's very pillowy, very the bubbles are very
Oh.
small. It looks good. This is a very good first start to the Mythos 2021 club.
So
Just looking at that beer.
this is kind of weird, but I'm gonna say it. Uh, I haven't ate any really greasy food for a couple days, and I've been craving pizza.
Hmm.
And on the nose, I smell pizza, but it's sweet like a coconut. So putting pizza and coconut together, I'm gonna say it's roasted coconut because it's toasted pizza and yet a sweetness of coconut. But then the coffee aroma is just like it's there. But
I'm gonna tell you right now, Mitch, your brain is fucking with you because there are no notes of pizza in this.
I know there can't be pizza, but I must be hungry.
Yeah, I'm smelling
Man,
this. Man, it smells so good.
it's
Um,
amazing.
the toasted coconut is. I'm a little. Coconut's not my thing. Toasted coconut I can do because it's a little bit lighter, and I definitely smell that on the nose. It's just a little there. Coffee as well, kind of more of the bitterness of the coffee that I'm getting on the nose, but mostly the toasted coconut.
Yeah. I've read the adjuncts, and yeah. Coffee from Parlor. That's a low, or that's Carolina, North Carolina. I'll have to look up and see where Parlor is, but it's a coffee that they have on site a lot.
Hmm.
Bascom Family Farms maple syrup.
Okay.
Organic toasted coconut brown sugar. Okay.
Brown sugar.
Not necessarily things that I guess you. I mean, you're gonna taste them, so I mean, some of the illusion is gone now. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was right here, so I'm gonna dive on in.
Taking a sip. Oh, wow. Okay. That coconut is stronger than I was expecting it to be.
It's potent.
Yeah.
The maple syrup only backs it up.
Yep. That comes in on the finish, Mitch. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I get out of it. Man. So side note, I was actually talking with um when we were at Living Waters, when I was at Living Waters the other day, I was actually talking to the guy who toasted the coconut for this batch. And he said that his whole house smelled like coconut for days after he had done this. And I was like, looking at him like, well, surely it's just toasted coconut. It's not going to be, over the top. And it's not. It's very forward in this beer. And every time I've had toasted coconut, it's always been in the background. This
Mm-hmm.
brings toasted coconut front and center, in my opinion.
Damn, Kappa got us on this one.
Mm,
Very mischievous bastard.
yeah, it's good. Let's
uh,
read a little bit about it.
yeah. I guess I'll kick it off real quick. So this is the announcement email that we got from. There's nothing listed on the bottle that would tell you like any kind of story about it. It's got the Mythos logo with the Kappa outline on it and a wonderful font. And anyway, it's Kappa, the first Mythos 2021 beer. They wanted to experiment with some new methods of infusing maple syrup and coconut in the beers. So they used far more of each than ever before. in this one. We also felt that adding a Ethiopian natural Guji coffee that we had would be a nice way to pull everything together. It says so. I can definitely tell they up the ante,
Uh-huh.
as it were. Uh, the result is a sweet, delectable pastry stout that is probably not what you expect from us, but tasty nonetheless. As always, we taste the beer until we feel it's ready to release. So we always recommend drinking when we first release the beer. This one, like some other pastry stouts, will continue to diminish in both the maple and coconut flavor as it rests. So they recommend keeping this cold and to drink it fresh.
Hmm.
I did keep this pretty chilled before we drank it.
Yeah.
I pre-chilled it, then I transported it with a cool pack, and then put it back in the fridge in the cool pack. So, I want to say I got it to about 45.
Okay.
That's what it felt like. Um, and
I don't.
Kappa, Kappa is an interesting little creature of Japanese folklore. It's a river demon. So Tennessee, if we were, celebrating any kind of demons or helpful ghosts or anything in between, that we would have a lot of Kappas. We'd probably have a festival for them. But anyway, Kappa is a river demon, and it can be both good or evil, as stated in this email. But overall, it's mischievous and a trickster. So anyway, it's a fun bit of a little folklore you can look up, and the Kappa has always been a huge thing in a lot of stories. They're very fun little demons.
Well, looking at the bottling, the label for the bottling, the Kappa logo that they have for the beer itself, it is very mischievous looking. I can't tell if he's happy or if he's plotting something. Just looking at the guy, he looks like he's about to fuck me up or he is about to be my friend, and I'm not sure which one it is.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, that you just pulled up the Animal Crossing character Kappa, and it actually looks like a filled-in cartoon version of what's sitting on the label here for the latest release for Living Waters.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Animal Crossing, and Captain, as his name is always been a fine addition in Animal Crossing. So I missed him on the latest, I think, installment for the Switch, but he's an adorable little Kappa, and that's the Kappa I would prefer out of all the other stories. But yeah, on this depiction of the bottle, you're right. It's like they took him and put some aging to him. And as typical with most Living Waters Mythos beers, they stick the Living Waters logo into the eye sockets. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a little theme I saw as people post things on Instagram and whatnot. Yeah,
I had never seen that before.
They sneak them in, man. It's a nice little thing.
Little Easter egg. That's awesome.
Damn.
Wow, that coconut is strong in this one. I can't say I hate it because I'm just not. I'm not a coconut fan, but toasted coconut for me has always been okay. And it's always been okay in a beer just because it always normally takes a back seat. But I have never really had a beer, especially a Russian Imperial Stout, that just brings toasted coconut to the forefront.
Yeah.
In a way that Living Waters does, and then backs it up with, you're right, it definitely backs it up with some maple syrup.
Yeah.
On the end.
I think it pairs well with that maple syrup. It smooths it out a little bit. Mm-hmm. The roastiness lasts longer, it feels like, too. And the coffee is a good backbone to it. But the Russian Imperial Stout side of things, it's like, it's there, but it's not the forefront.
No.
It's just kind of the body, I guess.
Yeah. I don't get coffee in this one. No. I get toasted coconut, and then I definitely get some maple syrup on the end. If I get coffee, it's more. I don't know. I don't get it. There's a flavor in there that I can't identify, and it could be the bitterness of the coffee, but I'm not confident enough to call it that. I'm gonna take another sip.
It's really and the more I drink it, the more I enjoy what I've got in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dessert that you can keep sipping on. And this is something I would love to have at a campfire. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? This is better than s'mores.
Well, I know because when you went out Friday to pick up the Living Waters releases, you picked up a couple of barrel aged sumps as well and some other beers, and you posted it on our Foamy Heads Instagram page. And
Hmm.
I noticed that you actually have two of these.
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
so you actually have the opportunity, if the time presents itself, to be able to enjoy it by a campfire if you'd like.
That's true. But you know, I they say drink this one as soon as possible. So
Hmm.
that's the choice I got to make.
Yes.
Do I want to do that within 3 months, or do I want to let this die a little bit and then see what it's like? Um, I don't know yet.
I think it'd be fun to age this. I really think that some of the now again, I'm not an expert on toasted coconut, but I think some of the coconut's going to start to mellow and take a back seat the longer you age this beer. But you don't want to go past the expert's recommendation of 1 to 3 months. So maybe there's a cutoff there where you enjoy it at a couple of months from now and see what it's like.
I guess we'll be revisiting this beer in a few months.
That would be fun to do.
It would be. We'd be able to reflect back on this one and see how the flavors did possibly fade out. So um,
Man.
that I grabbed two just in case. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun and probably make a decent little blog post about it because this is a fun beverage, especially with the adjuncts involved.
Mm.
I have to
I
go
don't.
for it.
I was gonna say I don't. I took a sip of this beer. The very first sip I took, and I was like, "Oh no, I've got." How many ounces is this thing? Is it 16 ounces? 16 point something? It feels like this is like a little bit more than a regular 16-ounce can, but it might be a little bit bigger. But I took one sip, and I was like, "Man, the toasted coconut on this is so strong." And I just was not I was not anticipating that I was going to be able to get through all this. But the more I drink it, the finer I am, the more okay, I should say, I am with the toasted coconut because there's other flavors in it that comes out like the maple syrup. The first sip was right in your face with toasted coconut, and I was really nervous that I wasn't going to enjoy the rest of this beer as I drank it. Not to say it was not a good beer, it's just not my style. But the more I'm drinking this beer, the more I'm warming up to it. And
Yeah.
I want to take another sip and I want to experience the layers of flavor that this beer has to offer. So I'm really stoked every time I get to drink this beer even more.
It's wonderfully mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Kappa.
Capo, yeah, it was a good name for the beer. Man, this it's weird. It's definitely a weird one. I
10.1% too.
yeah, I would
Man,
have not guessed it was a Russian imperial stout.
no.
Uh, these adjuncts definitely give it a whole new life. So
Coffee from Parlor Coffee, Bascom Family Farms maple syrup. We talked about that too. Organic toasted coconut and brown sugar. Brown sugar. Uh,
hmm.
I don't know if I taste brown sugar. Maybe I do, but I think that's maple syrup talking.
Yeah, the brown sugar, I'm not sure where is helping in it. Sweetness overall, I love brown sugar,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, it kind of has. This is going to be weird, and only a few people might share this opinion. But for those of you who have had malto meal,
Wow.
yeah, I
Is
used to
that
put.
that feels like a Fallout reference for some reason.
It does kind of sound like that, yeah. So this is malto
Malto
meal.
meal.
You can see it, Richard. It's like, instead of cereal, you can
It's
have
the off-brand cereal.
sorta. It's like grits, is what I'm trying to show you here. This
Oh,
product,
okay.
this is what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
I've seen that before. Okay.
But it's like wheat and malted barley and other crap all shoved into this fine grain that you can microwave or boil. And it's like
uh,
grits, but you can add brown sugar and butter to it. And it's like the best thing in the world. It's part of the reason why I'm overweight now, probably. But malto meal, it has a slight taste of that brown sugar in this for me, for the with the malto meal sense. But in no way is that even in the forefront of things. It's just kind of, it dissipates after a few minutes of not taking a sip. But I do have like this little vague kind of like memory of this flavor profile with this one, but it's after the toasted coconut kind of fades out of view, so it's a little weird. But again, I started drinking coffee when I was like 8 or something, so or 10 or something, but it was all within eating malto meal. I had coffee and all this other stuff, so this beverage brings back a lot of different flavor profiles that I haven't had in a while. And malto meal is kind of one of them.
Malto meal. And the fact that you pulled up the Amazon link where you could order a 3-pack is awesome.
Oh gosh. I haven't had that in a while, but it's very fond, a very fond memory, or taste, I guess. It's one of its own.
Malto meal. Suggested shelf life 1 to 3 months. And we talked about that just a few minutes ago. Is this something that's going to taste different 2 months from now?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Today it's super strong. It reminds me a lot of our discomfort with double vanilla.
Yes. Yes, we did. I think that was actually the first season that we did. It was season 1. Season 1 or season 2. I'm pretty sure it was season 1 where we did the Avery double vanilla. Man, it was... the only difference here being this is a lot of coconut, but it's not too much for me.
Right.
The double vanilla was actually too much vanilla for me. It was strong. Vanilla bean stout. Yeah. Vanilla bean stout was what it was. And man, it was over the top. Avery Brewing.
Yeah. Avery vanilla bean stout with vanilla beans added, aged in bourbon barrels. So it was a 9.2%er at the time, and I mean it tasted heavier than that.
Yeah, this is 10 plus, and this is easier to drink than that Avery stout.
It is way easier.
And I didn't hate it, but I'm glad we shared a bottle because 8 ounces of that beer or 6 ounces of beer was enough.
It was nuts. And the fact that they even can it now, I'm like, no.
No.
But look at the percent. It went up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the barrel aged version. I think the one we had was just a regular vanilla bean stout.
No, it was aged in bourbon barrels.
Oh, okay. So they changed the recipe. Okay, gotcha. Aged in bourbon barrels. Yeah, you're right. 9.2. Oh, yeah, you're right. When they put it in a can, it's 10.1, 10.5.
Weird. Super weird. I don't know what the change is, but
my sister and her husband were actually up in Colorado a few weeks back when I was sick with the Rona. And actually I was already recovering at that point, but they were up in Colorado, and I recommended that they go visit Avery, just because if you're in Colorado, there's shit tons of beer.
Yes.
Colorado, whether you're in Boulder, whether you're in Denver, just Colorado has beer everywhere amongst other goodies, but they definitely have a lot of beer, and Avery has to be on anybody's list when they go looking for breweries in Colorado. So they went to Avery, and I'm not a sour person, and they had one of those, but they had this coffee stout that was just unbelievably strong. And it took me back to when we had this vanilla bean stout, because when Avery does a flavor, it is over the fucking top. It just, they always go hard. And that's what makes them a great brewery, because they know how to take a flavor and just elevate it. But vanilla is just so strong, and I appreciate notes of vanilla, but probably not as much as they did in that vanilla bean stout.
Yeah, it was definitely in its own league when it comes to a vanilla profile. if you want to fly with vanilla, you go Avery.
Damn.
But Avery, yeah, if you're ever in Denver, there's so many places to go. Even Oscar Blues has a place that apparently you can. I haven't been there yet myself, but they've got a. If you do the tour, you can pull beers out that are not satisfactory for distribution, and get on adult-sized big wheels and drink and crash around. So
Wow.
I would love to check that shit out. That's been rumors that I've heard from people, a few years back. So who knows what it's like now? I don't know. If you know, let me know. But the other thing, just to bring it up, I still got about half the bottle left here, and the flavor profile is consistent and cruising. So I'm
Yes.
enjoying it at this point. It's no longer like a punch in the face. It's what I expect. But from Colorado, you excuse me, had to burp there. You were the recipient of something very special that we can't get in Tennessee yet. And
Yes.
just to preface this real quick, you know, 3 to 5 years ago, Tennessee was even more barren, and before that, way more barren from what beers you could access. So I see the light in Tennessee as I live here on hopefully receiving some more Californian beers. But, time will tell. But Russian River needs to distribute nationwide, in my opinion.
So good.
But yeah, tell us about it, man. This was your second Pliny or what?
It was. So Pliny the Elder, I believe the first time I had it, I was with DJ, guest host DJ. And it was, I believe it was DJ, or was it with you, Mitch? It might have been with DJ.
I think DJ.
Okay. It was mind breaking. It was just so good. It's and so I posted a blog post about this on our Foamy Heads website. I actually did a blog post on Pliny the Elder from Russian River. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to thefoamyheads.com, click on the blog post section, go all the way down to the bottom where you can see our blog, or hit it from the hamburger menu, and you'll see our beer blogs. And one of the more recent ones is Pliny the Elder's from Russian River Brewing Company. But it didn't hit me until I was drinking it this most recent time, which is only the second time I've had it, is they have been able to take in a world full of just over the top dank and hazy or citrusy or milkshake IPAs. The IPA world used to be this basic category, and then we've just completely turned it upside down, and we've added milkshake IPAs and sour IPAs and coffee IPAs, and we've taken an IPA and we've dumbed down the bitterness, and we've added oats and haze to it, and we call it a New England IPA, or we add juiciness to it and call it a Southern IPA. There's so many different categories now that there really is an IPA for everyone. But what a lot of people fail to realize is that it all started from just a very basic IPA, just a very basic category. And in my opinion, in a world where there's just so many different categories, the fact that Russian River Brewing stands out with a no frills IPA, but it tastes so good. It's just clean, and it's not boozy. It's bitter. It's kind of West Coasty. It is a regular IPA, but they do it so damn well. And I don't understand how they do it. And when my sister brought one back for me, she brought me back a crowler from when, one of the tap houses they were at in Boulder. And it's mind bending how they're able to take a beer like that and just make it so good. So Russian River Brewing, if you can start distributing into Tennessee, please do, because I will probably be your number one customer.
Man, yeah. I think it was there's a beer in a economy beer by a similar name to the bar that they went to get you that crowler, but I'm having trouble remembering it. It was
I
like
think it was called Boulder. Was it something Tap House?
Rolling Rock.
No, that doesn't sound right.
That's the beer company I think that I'm thinking of because I've seen
Yeah.
Falling, but it's Falling Rock. Falling
Rock. Yes.
Yeah. But that place is notoriously known for those who know when they go to Colorado to always have Pliny on tap.
Yes.
So a little tidbit for you all there, and if you go and you can't find it, that's one of the places you're more likely to find it. There's also a pizza joint towards Boulder that might have it, but anyway, ask the locals and explore and enjoy all the beer. Um, it's nuts, man. Pliny is still Russian River knocks it out of the park, and I still haven't had Pliny the Younger yet.
Oh, I don't think anybody that we know has had Pliny the Younger.
Oh yeah, and it could be plenty. I've heard it both ways. We're in the South, so forgive us. But
we don't know words, Mitch.
We make words our own.
Yeah.
We have our own vocabulary here. But whoa. Excuse me. I see in this picture here a Saint Bernardus umbrella.
that was your first foray into the craft beer world, was it not?
Yeah, if you want to consider Belgian beer into the craft, yeah. It's weird. Like in my mind, this is what brought me in for sure. I thought beer was all shitty until I had a Saint Bernardus Abbot 12. So,
yep.
It really opened my eyes to going, oh, there's flavors. Hey, there might be a craft to this, and sure enough, there was, just not in Tennessee at the time, except for like Yazoo, Blackstone, and a few others.
Yep.
That I just for some reason had been not on my radar until after this opened me up. So, speaking of like local beers, I saw the other day that Cezanne's is or has a new location that should reopen soon. So it's a place I've never really been to in the local scene.
Yeah, Zons we haven't been to. Mill Creek just reopened.
That's right.
Mill Creek. Was it Mill Creek? Yeah, we were planning on going. Where you ended up getting? No, where did you end up getting your beers the other day? You ended up getting a Pilsner, and then
that was Smith and Lentz.
Smith and Lentz. Yeah, sorry, they just reopened from the tornado. Of course, I mean I'm not wrong. Mill Creek just reopened again recently, just because we were talking about that in one of our earlier seasons episodes. We were talking about where they were looking at shutting down because they didn't have funding, and then they came in at the last minute, was able to keep going. But yeah, Smith and Lentz is a brewery that just reopened after the tornado hits. But Sans Brewing is one of those that I have not been to. But honestly, I haven't tried much of those beers either.
Yeah, Smith and Lentz. Typically, I've been getting back into the Pilsners for the past year and a half, I feel like now. And Smith and Lentz got taken out by the tornado, and along with like No Quarters and other neighbors in that East Nashville area block. And it's taken a whole year to get back, and then some, or probably then some. We're approaching the then some at this point, but they're back on their feet with both food being pizza and their beers, but they've got German, Italian, and other Pilsners available. That's kind of what I remember them for, is their Pilsners, and I think there's an IPA in there as well right now. But they were a place I kept going to pretty frequently because they're right next door to No Quarter. But I mean, Nashville's got so many places. It's 2020 really kind of messed up my memory, my timeline.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember all the places I would hit typically if I go downtown, but it's like 2020, don't go anywhere, and now it's like my memory is over a year ago from where I've been, and I don't. It's all shit now. So
yeah.
But I'm glad to see them back. Their pizza's good. And their pilsners are good too.
Yeah, you seem to really enjoy their pilsner.
It was good, man. I've recently had, I guess, two of their pilsners. I had the Italian, and I'm trying to think of the other one. I checked it into Untapped, but it was one of those days where it's late at night. I cracked it open, took a picture, threw a rating down, and then kind of went to my own jam for the evening. But they were good. Uh, Pilsners have their own recipe, so you kind of look for those typical notes between Italian, German, or the one that I really liked from them was their kind of own take with a Southern American flair with it. So it was awesome.
And you've also you can hear my son in the background. I think a little bit. He looks like he just got denied something that he wanted, so now that he's screaming, parenting life, so to speak. But
give me beer.
Yeah, that's what he's asking for. Not for another 17 years. I'm not going to make you wait till you're 21, but I'm definitely not going to give you that before
right.
You're 18. No, but you've recently kind of found a rekindling for pilsners, and when we've talked with when we talk with Living Waters, when we interviewed them, and when we interviewed with Proper Sake, everybody goes back to a pilsner, and it blows my mind. While these guys just, we've asked each one of them, if you're not drinking your own beer, what are you drinking? And they both respond with a pilsner of some sort, which to me makes no sense. But when you think about it, a pilsner is one of those beers that there is no room for error, because you can't hide anything behind hops. You can't hide anything behind a barrel age. If you screw something up, it's there. So to find a good pilsner, whether it's dry hopped, or like Southern Grist is making some good pilsners, some hopped pilsners, or just a German style pilsner or a Czech style pilsner in general, you're going to taste the imperfections in a beer,
right,
if they exist. And that's probably why these guys like them so much, because they respect the fact that those are brews that are hard to make.
Well, that, and I really enjoy a dry hopped pilsner, it turns out. It's I don't know what it is, man. It's something that it takes its own kind of mind when it's dry hopped. It's got an extra edge to it, I'm assuming. So that's probably, I would probably categorize that as a American style pilsner.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's weird. I love the dry hop pilsner. I've been trying to reestablish recently the profiles to my palate of the other styles. So American is kind of always confusing to me, because Americans just bastardize most foods anyway. Why not beers?
Yep. Why not?
So, but there's German style, Czech style, and European. And I haven't had a Czech style pilsner in a while. Like I have not, from this list that we're looking at anyway, I've not had any of those. But I've had European, which are typically when I think European, I think more for some reason Italian, because German style pilsner is its own.
Yeah.
So European, I just kind of default to Italian style pilsner, where it's more floral. But they got their Stella Artois there. It looks like, if I'm saying that right, Heineken and stuff. But I don't know about that. I don't know. This is Wikipedia. I don't know. It's probably validated, but at the same time, like, yeah, I don't remember those being pilsners. I don't believe it. But
yeah, Stella is definitely a pilsner.
Okay, I haven't had that in years.
So. Yeah, I've had looking through the list, St. Pauli girl. That's St. Pauli girl. Excuse me, I can't even read now. That's a pilsner. I've had that one before. That's a German style pilsner. Yeah, they exist, and I've had quite a few of them, but to me they're just all pilsners. Like there's not a different style. Going from light straw to golden color with more bitter, earthy taste. For a German style, I'm just reading off your Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
To a Czech style that's golden, full of colors with high foaminess and lighter flavor. Like, to me, they all taste the same.
Well, this would be a fun thing to do. Excuse me. I'm approaching the end of my beverage, but
Yes.
While on the subject of Pilsner, Yazoo actually has a couple on tap right now of style wise. So, depending how that all shakes out, maybe we'll go have a couple and talk about it later, because they have a few of these styles available to pour. And what better way to enjoy a Pilsner than off the tap?
That's true. And we did find out that their Daddy-O Pilsner pairs well with a donut with sprinkles on top from one of our previous sessions with the donut. Was it Donut Distillery?
Yes.
And Baker and the Beard, where they did a donut and beer pairing. Who would have thought that a Pilsner and a donut, or any of those beers for that matter, every single one of them surprised the hell out of me.
Yes.
That a donut could actually pair with a beer, but every single one of them worked.
It was very impressive, and from what I know, there would be more at some point. But I mean, the options are out there. Flavors are all over the board with donuts, and we've seen craft beer. We know there's flavors out there.
Oh yeah, there's flavors out there.
I can't wait to see the next kind of thing from somebody. So anyway, this beer, it's hitting hard. It's tasting good.
And we took a hard left into Pilsners and craft brewing, which is what I like about craft beer in general, because it takes you places that you were not expecting to go, but kind of wrapping back around to the experimentation that Living Waters has put in their Kappa beer with toasted coconut and brown sugar and parlor coffee and molasses syrup. What's your final take on this beer? Like, how are you gonna rate this beer? Because it's for me, it's not something I've ever had before. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. But it's still beer, so I still find myself having to rate it.
Yeah, I need to check it in while thinking about it, but it's when I smell it now with the amount I have left, which is about a fifth of a glass.
Yeah,
this is a 10-ounce glass here. I still smell pizza. Like I gotta be craving pizza, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. My nose is just off. Like, if I get past the pizza in my mind, I can smell the typical notes that we read about, where, I mean, it's all there. The toasted coconut being the forefront, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of a coffee note on the back end just because of that roastiness, but it could just be the roastiness in general that's kind of clicking it all together for me.
Yeah.
But
on a side note, I'm very interested if Ryan from Living Waters ends up listening to this episode the next time we see him, if he's actually going to say, "Pizza, man, really?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah, this smells like pizza.
I created greatness for you, and all you can smell is fucking jets with pepperoni on top.
Right. Making me think of Tang.
Yes.
But man, yeah. The nose is a bit fucked up for me right now.
Yeah.
For some reason, my mind goes to other places, but the taste is continuously wonderful, especially after the third sip, because the first one establishes the presence. Second one just kind of goes, "It's okay. You're okay. Just keep going.
Keep going.
And the third is just like smooth sailing. From there on, you know what it's about, and it's a fantastic beverage. I would definitely enjoy it outdoors more than indoors, just because it's on that more level from just where I could place myself and enjoy this beer. It'd be outdoors.
Yes, I agree. And it's to me, it's not one of those like cold as hell outside beers where I'm bundled up drinking this beer, it's 50-degree weather or
Right.
55-degree weather. Maybe I'm around a campfire, cool. If I am, that's fine. If not, I don't have to be. But I want to be in like
Mm.
jeans and either like a hoodie or a short sleeve or like, long sleeve shirt or something, but not freezing. That would be the time to enjoy this. And I literally just finished my last sip.
I did too.
And you're talking about the first sip is like, keep going. And then the second sip is like, okay, it actually kind of, it tells you, okay, this is the presence that's establishing, it's keeping going. The last sip to me indicates like we made it, like
Right.
we finished everything. We drank the whole beer. From the first sip all the way to the last, it was loaded with toasted coconut. I was not mad at that. They gave that to us up front, so I knew exactly what I was getting into. However, I kind of felt like the toasted coconut was going to take a back seat just because every single beer that I've had toasted coconut has always been in the background. This is the first time I've experienced a beer that brought it to the forefront and just kicks you in the face continuously. But it wasn't overwhelming because there were those other flavors that came in on the back end and smoothed things out for me. So I'm very excited that I get a chance to have this beer. It's great. I don't know what else to say. It's a great beer.
Yeah. Fantastic job. I mean, these are the results we expect from Mythos.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to the next iterations, and for those of you not in the club, get into it next year.
Yeah, because I don't think you can get into it anymore. But it's a great beer, and I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to Mythos release number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, final thoughts.
I'm throwing it on the Untapped at a 4.0.
Okay.
It's new to me because it, like you said earlier, it brings other flavors to the front of a Russian imperial stout, and I enjoy that. And I kind of want to see the next evolution of that. The toasted coconut is definitely pastry. You know, pastries are hard for me. I'm not a big fan of pastry stouts. I'm more on the I want to taste the Russian imperial side of things, but as we've stated before, our ratings are a little different than the general public. So uh, I'm putting it at a 4 because it's damn good, not because it sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The perfect beer is a 5, but that's our pursuit. Where is the perfect beer? And there's so many profiles out there now. I don't know who will get the perfect 5. It's just one of those things. It's a mystery to me right now. But for my palate, this is the first of its kind. I'm giving it a very, very high score of a 4. Um, I would definitely drink it again.
Yeah, and 4 is for people that are listening that are like, oh, 4 out of 5, that's 80%. Okay, I get it. Um, but you have to understand that from two guys, and not to sound all high and mighty, but from two guys that drink beer a lot, and we have a lot of it, a 3 is considered good marks, at least from me. A 3 means I would drink this beer again. I'm excited for it. I would go out and buy it. For the average consumer, that's a 60%. And that just means, oh, they must not have enjoyed it. No, that means I do enjoy it. I'm going to go out and drink it again. That's over half. I'm definitely going to go out and drink it. To give a beer a 4 is strong marks. And I'm kind of sitting with you on this one. I think I'm giving it a 4 as well. I personally am not a fan of toasted coconut, but I also appreciate where Mythos is going and where Living Waters is going with this brew. So I'm willing to take the toasted coconut and say, okay, there's something here that I really appreciate. But even in the end, I didn't mind the toasted coconut. It's something that not only was I like, okay, I'm willing to just live through, I kind of enjoyed it. I really
Yeah.
did like it. Regular coconut is one thing. Toasted coconut is completely different for me. I don't like regular coconut flavor, but toasted coconut is lighter. So that means I can enjoy it a little bit more. It's not as strong. In this beer, it's not strong, but it's at the forefront. You taste it a lot, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so good. I'm really excited for it. Um, I'm really excited for the next release of Mythos, and you can damn well bet that this is going to be part of our podcast episodes going forward. As we get the new Mythos release, we're going to be reviewing it, and that's just what it is. If we're not going to like it, we're going to say it, but if we love it, we're going to say it. And this one is a damn good beer. Shout out to Living Waters. This is a good one.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it, and unfortunately craft beer keeps getting pricier every year.
But we paid our dues already for the year.
Yeah, and God, Dark Lord Day is only a couple months away.
If we get a Dark Lord Day this year, it's going to be an expensive trip.
Oh God, yeah.
But that's great, Mitch. This was awesome, man.
I enjoyed it. So
I'm glad we got a chance to do this. I'm looking forward to the next one. Living Waters, keep banging these out, please. Keep putting your time and effort into this, because it's definitely noticed. It's not a beer that tastes like it's been rushed and that it's been sent out. It's something that we both really enjoy, and I'm glad. And we're gonna raise our glass to you and cheers to you guys, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Cheers.